There's an interesting law in Masechet Pesachim, Perek Or le'arba'a asar. It says as follows. I'm reading from the Rif, but this, of course, is from the Gemara, right? Amar Abaye Hilkach Hay Surba Mirabbanan La Liftach Be'idanehe Be'ortadit Lesar Nahe Arbesar. A Talmid Chacham should not start with his time. Be'idaneh, milashon idan. Okay, la liftach be'idaneh. What does it mean be'idaneh? He has a set time. You have to be kovea itim la Torah. So itim la Torah be'idaneh. He shouldn't start the idan or the time of studying Torah be'ortadit lesar, on the light of the 13th. Nageh arbesar, the light of the 14th, meaning the evening between the 13th and the 14th. Why? Dilma mimshecha lehe shemata, because he's going to get pulled. The pasuk says moshcheni acharecha narusa. So he's studying Torah. There's nothing more beautiful in the world, at least if you're Talmid Chacham and you realize it, than studying Torah, right? The most beautiful pleasure in the world is studying Torah. I know that some people may not appreciate that, but it's like taking a blind person to a beautiful museum of art. You take him to the museum of art and there's beautiful paintings there and they're inspiring, and he just doesn't understand what you find so inspirational, right? But a Sulba bin Abbanan, he has that. So mimshecha le shemata, he will be pulled by the lesson, by the shemu'ah, by the laws, by the halachot that he's studying. And as a result, he will not be mekayem the mitzvah. The mitzvah being bedikat hames, because bedikat hames is done, ortadit lesar, naghe arbesar. And since bedikat hames is done then, so you shouldn't start, a surba mirabanan shouldn't start studying Torah that night. Interesting, does this law apply to Hamon Am? Right? The peshat of the Lashon is Hay Suba Mirabanan La Vitach B'Idaneh. If you're dealing with Hamon Am, should we tell Hamon Am not to study Torah that night? Interesting she'ela. I know Halakha L'Maaseh, we answer no, we don't have any Torah before Bedikat Hames. But technically, just as a technical matter, not Pesak Halakha, as a technical matter, it should only apply to a Surba Mirabanan, because a Surba Mirabanan can be Nimshach Acharei HaShemu'ah. But here's the question. The question is as follows. En gozrin gezerah. We don't make a gezerah unless it's davar hashachiyah, right? Is this davar shachiyah? Is it davar shachiyah that a Talmid Chacham is going to be nimshach acharei hashemu'ah? You understand the question? So, if it's not davar shachiyah, how can you make a gezerah like this? Not to study Torah, you mevatel the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, shemeh yimashech achar shemu'ah. What type of gezerah is this? And the answer is yes, it is davar shachiyah. Masechet Ketubot, Daf Samich Bet, Amud Bet. There's a beautiful story. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a moment. Beautiful story. Yeah. The story is as follows. Yehuda Bereh de Rabbi Hiya, great Sadiq. The Gemara in Masechet Bava Metzia has an amazing story in Daf Pe Bet Amud Bet on the bottom of the page. An amazing story with Rabbi Hiya and his sons. Anyway, one of the sons of Rabbi Hiya was Yehuda. So Yehuda Bereh de Rabbi Hiya. Now, this Yehuda was a Surba Mirabanan, just like the Surba Mirabanan here. Right, it says, Hay Surba Mirabanan. This Yehuda was a Surba Mirabanan. How do you know he was a Surba Mirabanan? Because if it was a Talmid Chacham, or if he reached the level, we called it a B Yehuda. He's not called it a B Yehuda, he's called Yehuda. Are you beginning to see the connection between the two Gemariot? The one in Masechet Ketubot and the one in Masechet Pesachim? Yes? Okay. So continue. Yehuda bered Rabbi Hiya. So he was the son-in-law of the famous Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai was one of the great Tanaim, and Rabbi Chiya's son, Yehuda, was the son-in-law. So Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yanai, Rabbi Chiya was the Talmid of Rabbeinu HaKadosh. Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yanai were consuegros, right? Rabbi Chiya's son was married to Rabbi Yanai's daughter. Rabbi Yanai, there's a beautiful story in Masechet Yevamot where his aris didn't come on time, right? In Masechet Yevamot, I forgot where. I think it was Daf Sadi Bet or Sadi Aleph, right? On the bottom of the page, Daf Aleph. The aris didn't come on time, and it was Erev Shabbat, and he had a question with respect to Terumot Ma'asot, what to do with Terumot Ma'asot, because if the aris comes on Shabbat, how can you take Terumot Ma'asot on Shabbat? You're not allowed to. Anyway, continuing. So, Hava Azir Yati Beverav, he was studying in the Bet Midrash. He was studying Torah in the Bet Midrash. Bechol Beshimshe Hava Ate Lebete, and he would always come to the house in the evening because he had a mitzvah of Ona with his wife. So the mitzvah of Ona would come, and whenever there was a mitzvah of Ona, he would come to the house to be with his wife. So what happened? Now, when the Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Chiya, would come, before he would reach the house, it would be an Amud Esh. There would be an Amud Esh because, as I said, Yehuda, the sons of Rabbi Chiya, were great tzaddikim, and miracles of this nature would happen to them. What happened? Yom Achad, Hava Meshachte Shemata. One day, the Shemu'ah pulled him. Does this language look familiar? Meshachte Shemata. Let's look at the language in Masechet Pesachim. Dilma Mimshecha Le Shemata. The exact same language. This person was Nimshach Achar HaShemu'ah Nitkaim V'Apasuk Moshcheni Acharecha Narusa. Kevan de la Chazeh Hahu Simana. Now, that night, because Yehuda was late in the Bet Midrash, and he didn't come home as he usually came home for the Ona, so Rabbi Yanai is looking. He doesn't see the Amud Esh approaching the house. Amalehu Rabbi Yanai Kafu Mitato. Rabbi Yanai said, that's it. Turn the mitah over as a siman of avlut. One of the simanim of avlut, one of the laws of avlut is kofin et mitah, do kefiat mitah. She'im malei Yehuda kayam lo betel onato, because there's no way that Yehuda would be mevatel the onav with his wife, and therefore it must be that he died. He didn't die. He was just nimshach achar shemu'ah. Nevertheless, havai kishchara. Sometimes the king says something even by mistake. What the king says by mistake takes place. What a Chacham says, even if it's by mistake, it takes place. And we know that Venach Nafshe, and at that point, Yehuda actually died because of this. Nevertheless, why did I bring this Gemara? Because you see the connection between the Gemara in Masechet Ketubot and the Gemara Daf Samech Bet Amud Bet and the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim Daf Bet Amud Bet or Amud Aleph, that it brings the Inyan. I'm sorry, Masechet Pesachim is later on. It's in Daf Dalet. So he brings the Gezerah that you're not allowed to study Torah. Subba min Rabbanan is not allowed to study Torah. Erev Leil Bedikat Hames Shemi Mashtech Achar HaShemu'ah. Izar davar shel dela shachiach. No, it's not davar shel shachiach, because you look at Masechet Ketubot of Samech Bet Amud Bet, and you see that's exactly what happened to Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Yanai. So Talmidei Chachamim or Subba min Rabbanan, when they study Torah, nimshachim achar HaShemu'ah, from the love of the Torah. And yes, it's davar shel shachiach. That's why Leil Pesach, you're not allowed to study. Leil Bedikat Hames, you're not allowed to be liftach be'idaneh until after you did Bedikat Hames.